All right. So what we're going to do is with the kit, right? I got a whole bunch of cards here. Hold on. I'll put those over there. We have our little items. So make sure you have your little items. Going to be using some of these, the card bases, and the envelopes. We're going to use a lot of the gold envelopes, the card bases, some of the we're going to use the labels. And like you said, pop these out, but you know what? Before you pop them out, you're going to have to stamp them.
Oh,
So stamp these before. You can do it when after you've popped them out, but it's just easier. So I just need to get my Pretty Peacock ink. So hold on. And if you notice in the stamp set, this stamp set is some leaves. There's one leaf here, and then there's a larger leaf. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp these guys. So this one here is a larger leaf. If we look here, this one's the larger leaf, and this one is the smaller leaf. And we're just going to stamp them. It's easier if we do them all at once. But let's get them on the block. And we'll simply stamp those with Pretty Peacock. It'll just go a little faster. Now, I've tried my best to line these up, but sometimes they just don't work. There we go. Okay. So I have a bunch of those over there. You are going to need some cardstock. You need Pretty Peacock and the Real Red that coordinates with this, and maybe some white cardstock. So what we're going to do first, we're going to get a piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock, and I'm going to show you the card that we're making first, and so you can
okay.
understand what we're going to make as I cut. So what I wanted to do is use some of these ephemera packs, and I thought, okay, let's make a kind of a fancy fold. So you'll see here, this piece here is just one piece, so it's not a fold over, it's just a 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then we have this, and I thought, okay, I wanted to make a little different of a fancy fold. So I kind of worked on using the ephemera packs and that little sticky label thing. So we're using both of those. We're going to have it like this and opens like that. So I thought that was kind of cool to try and have it kind of overlap like that. So the first thing we need to do is cut our card base, and that is going to be 5.5 by 4 1/4. So that's the size of this piece here. The next piece is a piece of Real Red, and we need it 10.5 long by 4 1/4. This will go on here, but we will be folding it. And we're going to score that piece of red at 3 3/4 and then 7 3/4. 3 3/4 and 7 3/4. And that will fold in on itself. So you can see there's one side is going to be a little bit shorter. So here, if I fold it, is a little bit shorter, and then this just folds over. Okay, so it'll be like this. All right, so we have the red. We need to get an envelope. Because we want this little piece, we want it behind here. Now you got a choice. You can cut it and just kind of have a little strip, or you can cut the full piece. It's totally up to you. I'm going to cut it in strips so that I can use a little bit more of the envelope. And that is going to be, it is 4 1/4 wide, but you can make it like 1 inch tall. But then you need 2 of those. Okay? When you're cutting these, just be aware that where you cut on the envelope. So I've opened this up, so I gotta make some straight lines here. I'm gonna cut it at like 1 inch. And then I'll make another one at 1 inch. And then I make it 4 1/4. 4 1/4. So there we go. I got 2 of these. 2 of those. Oops. Now we're blurry again. 4 1/4 by 1 inch tall. There, I got 2 of those. You know what? Let's assemble some of this so we can kind of get them all stuck together first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my gold piece and I'm going to glue it to the back here on the top. Like, so when it's folded over like this, when it's folded over, I'm going to put a little bit so it peeks out from the top here, and then a little bit so it peeks out from the bottom there. And I'm going to take those down. Just make sure you place them on the right spot when it's closed. I'm going to tape that on the top and the bottom. And we're going to take this piece, and this is going to be taped on. Now, double check on how we are going to glue this to the next part. You see this flap here? Sure, it goes up, okay? So not that it's upside down. And I'm going to place that kind of in the middle from the top and bottom. And I'm going to glue that down. So it's kind of close to the top and to the bottom, equal amount. What I want to do is, you know that little sticky label? This will go on the front, but before I do that, I'm going to stamp a sentiment. So there it is, the sticky labels on the front. I'm going to stamp a sentiment on the sticky label before I put it on. So let's get a sentiment. I'm going to take this big one I thought would look really nice on there. Stamp it on there. Because if we did it after we put it on the card, then we won't be able to stamp on it. So once it's stamped, I'm just going to put it on that front flap here. I'm going to peel it off. And if the dimensions worked, it should fit on the front. Oh, look at that. Yay, it did. So it fit right on the front flap, that top one. That fit right on the front. I'm going to cut a piece of basic white, and let me make sure I got it right. 4 by 3.5. I'm going to do that 4 by 3.5. So when I lay it down, it fits top, bottom, left, right, all the way around. This piece, we are not stamping at all. We can glue this right down right now. Glued down. All right. So I have that one glued down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some of these little packs of the leaves in. Okay, I'm going to take this one. I'm not going to glue it, but I'm just going to lay it down. So I'm going to lay it down like this. And then I'm going to take another one. Maybe I might cut this one. I don't know. Let's just see. Maybe I'll put it underneath. I don't know. I think I'm going to be cutting that one, but this one with the berries for sure. So I'm going to have that one kind of hiding up. So when I close this, I could do it like that, but I think I could leave it like that with a little bit, but I think it could use a little bit more. I'm going to take one of these. The idea is, so when I close this, this is the idea. So I have it here. So when you look, it looks like it's kind of going together. But when you lift it, there's a sentiment that kind of is going to cover this right there. I want to bring this down. I'm going to kind of angle it a little bit, but when I close it, I want a little bit more leaves. So I'm going to cut these leaves in half. I will tuck them underneath, but it'll be okay because I'm going to put a sentiment on top to hide all of this. So again, I'm going to keep opening and closing this to see how it looks. But don't forget, there is one tip. Don't let this go too far down. You have to push that back a little bit. Because if you don't, because you don't want it to go beyond this, if you don't do that, when this flap opens, it will bend it right here. Cannot go further than the red. Kind of keep it grouped together a little bit. And I'm going to have it like this. So I can see the berries are kind of, they're all in the white. And this is kind of all in the white also. And when I close it, it looks like it kind of goes across. It looks like one piece. That's the trick. Make sure that this does not go lower than the little fold line. And I'm not even going to move these guys. I'm just going to glue it down. I'm going to stick the glue underneath. Or somehow get the glue into it. Making sure it doesn't go past that little fold line. I could leave this just like this, but I think it looks a little messy just at this one point. So I'm just going to cover that with a little sentiment. So I'm just going to stamp a sentiment and kind of cut it out. And then before I glue that down, I'm going to double check to make sure that it kind of hides underneath that piece of flap. Do it as best as I can. I'm going to hide it as best as I can under that flap. Now, you don't have to put a sentiment on the inside flap, but I just thought it kind of, I wanted to try and hide a little bit of what that put together is. So the main idea is that this piece right here looks like it's one piece altogether, kind of flowing over. And then on the inside, we just need to add a little piece of white. I'm just going to pop this one in here. Oh, and then the little embellishments you can add on top. Yeah. Oops. This is all wet. Oh, it's not sticking. You know what? It would help if I glued it down. There's a trick for you. Glue it down. That way it won't move.